Hello, I'm ALLIE DUZETT, and I just wanted to take a minute this morning and talk about anxiety and why we can get our anxiety cleared through energy work, but still continue to have anxiety attacks and panic attacks. This really confused me for a long time. When I first started doing energy work years ago, some of my first kind of test subjects, my guinea pigs that I was really excited to work on, did struggle with anxiety. And I thought, oh, no worries, like we can clear this forever. And we did a ton of releasing, emotion code style, going through, I don't do the emotion code, but what we would do is go basically event by event in their lives and clear out the anxiety from these past events. And then they would feel better for a little while, and then they'd have anxiety attacks again. And I was really confused, and I thought, how can this be if we got rid of all the trapped anxiety? And I didn't realize that when we have, life continues, trapped emotions, that's great to get rid of them, but the fact is that a trapped emotion, we continually generate new emotions, right? And so why is it the case that we continue to experience anxiety after we have released our trapped anxiety? It's because we keep experiencing anxiety-inducing events, right? And so clearly there's something that is not right with the body's, either the body or the energy system, that is preventing the smooth and gentle release of anxiety emotions in real time. And so as I was looking into that, I thought, I wonder if there is a system that is just for the elimination of the emotions of anxiety. And I got that that's a big yes. And just like the rest of our body has these different pathways for intaking different substances and excreting them, it's kind of the same way with emotions. Basically, there's these systems that are set up energetically where it's kind of like all of the air that we, like everything that is surrounding us, it has everything in it. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically like every breath you take in has the possibility to bring you in happiness or sadness or anger or whatever, and it really just depends on you and what kind of a person you are and how all of your systems are functioning. And so if your systems are functioning well, then on your inhale at the appropriate time, like your joy pathway might be activated and you'll breathe in, and every time you breathe in, you'll be breathing in feelings of joy, and every time you breathe out, you'll be breathing out old feelings of sadness or current feelings of sadness. And so when your pathways are open and functioning, when your emotional pathways are open and functioning, it means that with every breath, you can breathe in the good and breathe out the bad. And all of a sudden, your life in real time starts shaping up. So again, it is important to release trapped emotions from the past. And that is that's crucial to our overall healing. But in the long term, that's not going to take the place of having functional pathways. And it's kind of like food. And I'm sorry, it's kind of a gross example, but it's like the easiest one to understand. I feel like, if you eat food and you're eating all this great food for you, that's great. But if you're really constipated, then you're still going to have a ton of problems. I've read some healers that say that constipation is the root of all problems. And thinking about it in terms of pathways and the body, I wonder if that actually is probably true, that if we just all had a flow of every single system, then everything would be flowing and we wouldn't have any problems. Doesn't that sound fabulous? So anyways, with physical constipation, if you are dealing with that, having a bunch of basically like rotting food sitting there in your bowel, like it can get, like toxins can be reabsorbed and it can cause all these problems, and you just get this backup of toxic material in your whole body, and it can cause skin problems and digestive problems and all sorts of problems. Any kind of body dysfunction you can think of, it can all really be tied up with our digestive system and how smoothly it's running. But if your digestive system is running very smoothly, then as soon as you eat something, I mean, so my sister-in-law is a very good nutritional therapy practitioner, and what she has taught me is that people should be pooping 3 times a day. After every meal, your body should be letting go. You take in what you need and you let go of what you don't need. And so when our systems are very smooth and flowing, then we have this sense of flow. When it comes to things like anxiety, so you cleared out your past anxiety, but maybe you didn't clear out your anxiety beliefs, the patterns that are associated with anxiety. Maybe you have released the anxiety you felt as a newborn when you were first left with a babysitter, and it was very anxiety inducing, but you didn't clear out the belief that said, whenever I'm in a new situation, I should feel anxious. And so then when you go into this new situation, you're going to start to feel anxious. And then what? Well, if the anxiety pathway is what you might call constipated, then that's too bad for you. And you're just going to be generating all these emotions of anxiety, and they're going to get trapped. And then you're going to have trouble breathing, and you're going to have this anxiety attack. And so it's really important to clear out these pathways and get them functioning again. If you can create functionality in the pathways, then in real time, then as you go to the party that would have made you anxious, you'll still get anxious, but it won't get trapped. It will just breathe on through the body and exit as soon as it shows up. So I just have begun releasing my new anxiety series, which is a series of pre-recorded guided imagery sessions that clear out these pathways and get them functioning again. And so it's been really interesting to read the reports from people that are trying it. One man wrote that he did this session, and then he realized he was still occasionally having these like kind of anxious thoughts, but as soon as they showed up, he would recognize them and then just breathe. And he said they would just basically like evaporate, And so, I mean, the fact is life is full of things that cause anxiety, right? That's how the world is. But if our bodies are functioning properly, then those emotions don't get stuck. And that's the goal here, is to just let them pass through and not get stuck. Anxiety is a gift. It really is. Fear is a gift. Anger is a gift. All of the emotions that we feel, horror and panic and stress, those are gifts. They are presents to us. They are gifts to our souls, and they teach us what needs to change. You don't want to get rid of all anxiety ever. You don't want to never feel anxious again. There are situations where it is appropriate to be generating those emotions. And I mean, there's many situations where it's not. And of course we want to, address those, which is why, I do a lot of work with belief clearing and pattern clearing and obviously trapped stuff from childhood and so forth. But all of the emotions that exist in this world, they exist as servants for us. And they are signals to us and teachers to us about what needs to change. And I mean, ideally, in the end, I mean, do we feel like God feels anxious? I don't think God ever gets anxious. And it's because he has this perfect enlightened perspective. And that's the goal for all of us. And I do believe that as we, become more and more enlightened, then we won't be feeling anxious so much. But in the meantime, some anxiety is okay when we are not enlightened. If we're still on the earth, we haven't been translated yet, it might be okay to embrace the idea that it's okay to feel stressed sometimes. It's a signal to us that something needs to change. Our emotions are gifts and they are messages. But how much nicer to get messages that don't get trapped in your chest and make it so you can't breathe and give you high blood pressure. And how much nicer to be able to perceive, this situation is anxiety inducing because of this reason. Maybe I should respond in this appropriate way, and then breathe it out. And that's how it's supposed to work. And so So anyway, I just wanted to take a minute this morning and talk about that. Um, there is hope. If you have been doing a lot of work to clear your past anxiety and haven't had a lot of success with it, or you feel like maybe you have had success, but you're still dealing with ongoing panic attacks, anxiety attacks, recurring feelings of insecurity and dread, that this is why your pathways are blocked and you need to unblock them. That is not something that I teach how to do, but I do have sessions available that you can watch and clear them out that way. But that is why, and I feel like it's important for everyone to know. Okay, I hope that you're having a great day. Bye.